In the great words of Summer Walker, you don't know me. Saying I'm extremely down bad. I'm gonna be transparent. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills in a couple of days. But I also feel more happy and complete than I ever had. I've been thinking about making this video for so long, and there's just been a lot of reasons why I haven't. But now is my time. And if you're thinking about doing anything, you have the thought, just do it. It's never gonna be the right time. Growing up, I felt like nobody in my situation or in my life could relate or understand. I just prayed, like, I wish somebody was there to just help guide me or give me a little bit more clarity, information, support me, etc. And so hopefully you stay and listen to how I got here and the takeaways. As the title says, yes, the fuck, I left that secure job. I left that corporate job to find a better one, and at the time I really thought it was. And a lot of people were saying, like, the job market sucks, the job market's really hard. But for me, everything's always going to be hard, and I just needed to make that jump. Like, I just was like, now is my time, right? So how did we get here? I had worked so hard, graduating college early, working full-time, providing for myself. It was a lot, and I had gotten out of college, wasn't sure what to do, and I had two options as far as job opportunities. I had one to work in actual TV production because I've always wanted to do something creative and create things that people would see and just inspire people, connect the people, make them feel heard and seen. However, it was only $45K a year, and it was in Minnesota. What? I don't really. So the other job was in Chicago, the city that I always wanted to live in growing up. I always wanted to live there, and it was higher paying. Making $60K out of college, especially in marketing, social media, just was it for me. I didn't really do too much research, now that I think about it. Like, I was really naive. I was just more focused on the fact that I need a job, which is more high paying, which one is more high paying, and which one is in the city that I want to be in. Because ultimately I wanted to move from out of Michigan. Shout out to the maintenance house. But I knew that job was not going to be the best for my career. But I figured even if I could get settled in on my feet for a year or two, and I need to be out. I need to be out that house. Come to find out, and I realized it's the first job. The job was in the sex industry. I worked for OnlyFans, the actual company. But I worked in their startup app, OFTV, which is 100% safe for work. It's just essentially like YouTube. It's actually a little bit more strict. But for obviously creators on that platform. I also didn't realize that I wasn't really going to be doing anything in social media. The job was very, very simple and honestly dimmed my light. But as time went on, I got to work on a lot of great projects. I had so many great benefits, like create my own schedule, office, lunches paid for, free coffee, snacks, weeks paid PTO, but like you could take whatever days off. If you needed a half day, you could just hop on another time. Like, it was the most amazing job ever, besides that fact, those two things, which is important for your career. For that, all my internship stuff, I've just kind of taken every opportunity because I'm a dog. I can do it all. And when you get older, I feel like niching down is most important, and being in the industry that you are, like, that you want to be in, is super important. So a year and a half goes by. I have a whole month of PTO now, and so I'm like, I'm going to go to Europe, get paid to go, because I worked hard for this, and before this I never had PTO. I'm going to then search for jobs. Mind you, all of this was great. Like, I had my own place, I started investing my money, I had a 700 plus credit score, like multiple credit cards. Like, I was doing everything right, bro. Everything possibly fucking right. My goal for that year was to move out of this space. It really started to eat away at me. It's like it was time for me to move on, because I saw it as, one, like, how much more could I grow in that company? I got to work on great things, like with TV shows, with creators, etc., and use my brain, but not really to the full extent. But two, I want to really be proud and own the work that I have. Like, that's super important to me. I couldn't be proud and show the world. And as Leo, that eats me alive, but also I know that I'm such an amazing, beautiful person. Why would I ever want to make that smaller? Why would I ever dim that for myself? And I also have a niece and nephew. Like, in a way, I'm their role model, and I want to be able to provide things for them. If not now, at some point, like I want them to look at me and be like, damn, he's a boss. No matter what it is, like he's a boss. He took care of business. He really got it out the mud. No matter what. And that job just didn't provide that for me, and I knew that. What ended up happening was there was a job opportunity, but the job was still in the industry. I was doing other things that was actually creative. So my thought process was, let me take this job. I could make close to 6 figures in a year if all things went well, and which was my goal. My goal is 6 figures by 25. And in a year or two, I can use all of this, improve, and yes, it's in this industry, but I could do this no matter what. And matter of fact, it's even harder in this industry. Imagine what I could do for you in an even bigger scale. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was limiting, but I wanted to do it. I needed to move also. So I'm like trying to figure out my moving situations, and this job, because it just was not set up how it was supposed to be. And I knew this going in. I had a deep feeling because I had worked part-time for this job just to kind of test it out while I was at the other one, but I wanted to get out so bad that I still took the leap. Like I literally had a dream that everything was gonna go wrong, but then at the end, after I was like in such a dark spot, but then I like woke up in this dream, and finally like it was good. But I was like, bro, I'm tripping. Literally happened, bro. Other job, it got to a point where I didn't really have to use my brain too much because it was easy. It was light work. I was a boss and people loved me. That's how I got this job, right? But this new job, it was very different, and I didn't have that, and I was actually using my brain, and it honestly made me sick thinking about my niece and nephew could potentially see this type of shit. And like I'm feeding more bad stuff on the work to the world and internet, and there's already so much clutter. I felt like I was adding to a hoarder list. And it just really ate me alive. And I just like slowly stopped working. I moved and I stopped working more, like less and less and less. And I was just trying to figure it out. Mind you, I'm trying to apply, but at this point, like, not only is my portfolio not strong enough because ultimately the world is fucking competition, but also what I do have, it's like, okay, but for the past 2 years, you've been in the sex work, and automatically people see OFTV, like they're not gonna look into it. You have to have it explained to you. But when it's on a paper, you don't have the room to do that. And so I've just been trying to figure it the fuck out, bro. And it came to a point like that job gave me so much anxiety, because I was doing new things. I wasn't necessarily confident in my skills. I'm trying to apply. Nobody's accepting me. All the things I'm even doing for the people that are assigned to this agency, like it just felt like it didn't matter. Doing all the right things, but it just didn't really amount to anything. And this just made me really sit in the mirror and like I'm like depressed. Damn. I did all of this. I worked so hard to get here in my life. I did all the right things that people said you were supposed to do. Like, one thing about me, I've always been a learner. I've learned from people's mistakes. I've known what the fuck a bad credit score was since I was little because my parents had that shit. I understood I needed to invest my money early, get credit cards early, build my credit. Like, I understood I needed to go to school, and I did that shit. Literally graduated early, and I did that shit by myself to get here, and it still wasn't enough. Like, when it was all said and done, a lot of weeks I was working over 40 hours for this job, and I like was left with nothing. Like, that was such a sickening feeling. Like, I did all of this shit for fucking nothing, and like now the world doesn't even see how great of a person I am. It was so fucking depressing, honestly. At the same time that all of this job and a move is transpiring, I'm dealing with an insane amount of trauma, okay? I'm finally unpacking an insane amount of trauma. I knew deep down one huge thing that I needed to just accept that this occurred to me. This is why I was scared to be who I am for so long, and the world continued to push that on me before I was even aware that I was gay. And every single time they did that, it would trigger that. And so many people thought I was, whether I was or wasn't, and took advantage of me and made me feel so many different types of ways. Like, that's a lot. Bro, this fucking horrible and will eat you up. Like, I've understood that for years. I've been in this fight for years. It's insane. And I've been failed by so many people. And with unpacking all of that, the first part was, I'm just gonna say, put it on the screen, from a young age, like, unpacking that led to me remembering things, good and bad, and being able to look back at them and understand how all of this has affected me. And I just needed to put a pause in my life And I did, because I was fucking depressed. But at the same time, I have bills because I bought a car and I moved into a beautiful apartment because I was supposed to have this good career, and it all was crumbling down and eating at me. But it led me to, what are my dreams, what are my goals? And I needed to start doing that. And I was like, now is the time. Like, I have literally nothing to lose. I already feel like I have zero worth. I'm already not making any type of bread. I'm already like racking up the credit card bills. Like, what the fuck? With that, it's like, I'm so scared to be perceived in my own home. I was never able to be me safely. There was always judgment. It was never safe. And I always had to be the best version. Like, I was always great. I mean, I'm very blessed to be smart, honestly. Like, I was in honors and shit, but I always also worked hard. I had to be the best kid possible and not have to be a concern and put more weight on my parents, because when they had to invest their time in me and actually invest their energy, all hell broke loose. I was ridiculed. I was broken down. I was verbally like not affirmed. I was the complete opposite. And that does a toll on somebody. And that even to this day, and with the career I want to do and make money on the internet, etc., you have to be okay with being perceived. Like, I've always known who I am, and I've always like been a bright and like, yes, this is me. I've always been confident. But when it really comes down to it, to being perceived, it genuinely scares me, because I'm so scared of something going bad, because I've been taught if one little thing is bad, like, it's absolutely horrible because of like all of it, the world, family, etc. And that's a lot to unpack. And at the same time, I've never thought about any of these things, and I'm like mourning my own childhood. It's sad for myself. And the days keep going by. Like, some days I didn't even shower. I would eat maybe chips, and it just felt like I would wake up and I would blink 5 times and it was the next day, or it was the next week. And at the same time, I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I pivot from this? And it's so hard. It's so hard. It has taught me a lot about the things that I have encountered and how I've gotten through life. I've always been blessed that I can analyze and see things for what they are and learn how to be better from that. I've always learned that I need to invest my energy into me, because that's what's gonna heal me, and that's what's gonna get me to where I need to be. And I've always figured it out. I've always wondered, what the fuck am I gonna do? When I was in college, and I had first cut off my parent, who was really like kind of supporting me, or basically, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? My financial aid, but then they got dropped. And I was like, damn. God provided a scholarship for me. When I was sleeping in my car because I didn't even want to be at the home that I had a home at, and I would rather sleep in my car, and I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I figured that shit out. And I learned, even at my worst, I was still going and I was still fighting, even if I'm not aware of it. And all of this bad shit happened, and that's okay. And that's how you grow. So ultimately, stepping on this, I found God again. And I feel great, and I feel amazing, and I feel more so complete, and I just feel like I know that something is coming. Like, I just need to get through these next couple months, and I'm gonna be in a beautiful position. And so I'm so grateful that I started posting on social media, because I did that not because I want to be an influencer, because I know that I have to grow my network, and I have to be okay with being perceived and seen, so I can impact lives. That's why I started my TikTok, and it got me back to enjoying all of the things I love. I've learned so much about myself in this whole experience that I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I'm like, now's my time. So whether that's the gym, starting social media, starting a business, etc., I'm doing a lot right now. Just start. You can. And I was over analyzing, and I got paralysis. And this is also what really killed me, was I thought about every single little thing, because I am an overthinker. Willing, you are able, and you will be blessed. I promise you. I am at probably the worst position I've ever been, and I've always told myself I would never fall to this. And yet, I literally just know that all of this is going to pay off. All of this. So yeah, I got that job, and it completely ruined my life. I lost everything that I worked so hard for and did everything right. It's hard turning into a version of yourself that you don't know, or you've always sought out after, but you gotta keep going. You can't think sometimes, you just gotta go. You gotta learn how to fail and pick yourself up. Yeah. This channel is going to be me showing you my skills, my business, and just like bringing you a part of my whole life, honestly. my successes and my losses. But if I could, whoever touches this, just know, like, I feel you on so many levels. To feel like the world owes you more and did so much bad to you is okay. To feel like you want to give up is okay, because that's how I felt. But there's a reason why. Just keep pushing and understand, as long as you keep fighting, beautiful things will happen. Failure or redirection, a door closing, always opens another door, and it always leads you to the door that you're supposed to be going into, to the room you're supposed to be in. If you listen to this and you watch this, thank you. To all the kids, if you're trying to figure out what I should do in college, you're in high school, I don't know what to do, you're scared, you want to go to college, you don't have the support, you're a person of color with absolutely no fucking wealth to back you, no opportunity. Hopefully one day I can provide you so much more, but just know that at the bare minimum, I am here for you, and hopefully I can inspire you and you can be seen.